Welcome to the show, No Filter, where nothing is off limits. We don't aim to offend, but if you get hit, oh fucking well. Back in the studio with us, we have the Kev. Say what up, Kev.
Hello.
And we have Mookie. Say what up, Mook.
Top of the morning to you.
It's nighttime, dude. Everywhere we are, it's nighttime. Don't do that.
It's morning, guys. Don't you judge me. Don't you judge me. Don't you prejudge me. Could not be honest. Cultural appropriation. I don't appreciate it. On my bad.
Wow.
Why can't we ever just get through the intro without some shit? Why we being shade? Why every time there's always some shit? You break yourself. Oh, shit. Dude, even Steve had to ask that. Top of the morning to you. Yeah. I know. That was my bad. That was my bad.
Well, I'm y'all crazy as usual. It's y'all, not me. I'm the good guy here. I'm just here to keep the teams even.
No, I'm the good guy. Thank you very much.
Negative on your last Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. You are not going to fly back.
I'm the guy. Fuck you. Oh my God.
Thereby proving that
we made it higher fucking with each other during the show. It's like the first 10 minutes is just like, I don't get it.
All right, today's topic, and it's probably going to be a continuation, right? Because we were supposed to have a special guest in the studio to possibly present opposing viewpoints, but clearly, people are flakes, like they come in a box.
I'm not going to say why. I want to, but I'm not going to. Because I'm nice.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. We can't make people, present their opposing topics or viewpoints. So clearly, everyone will be subjected to the three male perspectives that, they're constantly subjected to. And we're pretty sure you like it because you fucking listening. Whatever. We're going to talk about relationships again. But this time we're going to focus on relationships. Presidential election's over. We no longer care about politics. We wanted to make sure everyone knew that we were aware of what was going on in the world. But now we're back to our normal world. And we're going to talk about scandalous, nut-ass, piece of shit, smut bucket, filthy muggle bitches, and how they interact with men.
I love burning her. I love muggles. I love muggle bitches. Like, that's just, I love that. That's my new word for 2017. You filthy muggle bitches. Not me, but there's people too.
Needless to say, we're going to jump right into like the middle of a relationship. Like your relationship is already happening. Y'all have agreed to terms and agreements. Like y'all clicked the box and didn't read everything. So you're in the middle of the relationship, and now you're faced with this dilemma about understanding the perspective of your mate. When you have a scenario like you do what you want to do, and I do what you want me to do, but when I'm fed up doing what you want me to do, and I begin to do what I want to do, now it's an argument. How exactly do y'all think that works?
I don't argue.
Touché, but you understand that people do this. You know people who have gone through this dilemma, this tribulation, this trial, this issue, this scenario. So what's your take on it? I mean, and I understand. Once again, we know each other, so I understand the whole concept of we're not going to argue. So, but what's your take on it? And it may be different for you because, you might be able to give these bitches out here a relatively decent perspective on how to avoid said name argument. So it would be good to hear from Kev. It would be a unique perspective outside of his fucking mouth.
It's simply because they want to argue for sake of argument. Like, to be honest, I think people argue because so many people value this whole makeup sex thing because sex must be regular, that they need makeup sex because it's so amazing that they take these arguments, or they want to argue for the sake of argument because they feel like, oh, if I'm a jealous girlfriend, I'm a loyal girlfriend. No, bitch. If you're jealous, you're annoying. Like, shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, chill the fuck out, suck a dick, and fuck them, and you're good. It's just that simple. Like, if you get his nut off every day, you ain't got nothing to worry about. And even 2 times a day. But, you know what I mean? People will be so stuck on this whole, I'm jealous, I want to argue about something because we need to argue. This shit is weird. I talked to a chick one time, and she got mad because we never argue. For what? If we don't argue and it's good, then what are we arguing about? Like, it bothered her. So this shit is weird to me.
Yeah,
So she actually wanted to argue.
Yeah, well, see, I've met some women like that. They believe that if you don't argue, that means the relationship is devoid of passion and
Or you don't care.
You're nonchalant and you don't give a fuck or you don't care about them because you're not willing to argue. It may just be I don't give a fuck enough about the argument to engage in the argument. I mean, but that part flies over most people's head. Like, and fuck, dudes is the same way. Like, I ain't gonna sit here in front. Like, I know some petty ass, controlling, whack ass dudes too who do the same shit to their broad. But like I said, we're talking from a male perspective, so I tend to keep it male related.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go to a female perspective
when they don't know what the fuck they be talking about in general. Okay. Oh, that's not what you said. Oh, my bad.
That's you know what? You hit it, but at the same time, you hit it. I can't hit. That's what I was gonna go with. Because at the end of the day, it's just like I think people argue mainly because of fucking pride. Everybody got to be right. That's what I've run into. I can't speak. Let me say I can't speak for everybody. My situation is just it's a pride thing. It's like I want to be better. You know what I'm saying? I'm right, you wrong. I gotta be right. When did that shit happen? Like when is it about being right and being wrong? Like get it? I get it. There's right and there's wrong, but not to the point where I'm finna argue with you about it. Because in my eyes, you always wrong. So that's just how that rolls. I mean, you can't.
You know what?
You can't tell me that.
With that being said, I'm one of them. I guess I'm the asshole person because I don't do the right and wrong. Like I don't do the right and wrong thing. I'm like right and wrong are moral designators, and your morality may not be the same as mine. I'm about correct and incorrect. Like if you ask me to change your tire, and I come out to change your tire, and I put the wrench on the first lug nut, and you say no, I'm supposed to do 2 lug nuts over. At this point, I don't want to change your tire anymore. Because if you knew what the fuck you were doing, you should have just did it your damn self. That's just how I feel. Like you want to argue about what I'm about to do for you. That's weird as hell to me.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like that's not right and wrong. That's just correct and incorrect. Like there's a correct way. Like if you don't have the capacity or ability to achieve a given task and you ask me to do it, you no longer have the right to argue with me about how I accomplished said task. That's weird. And I don't want to argue about that. Like I don't have it in me to have that argument. Like and don't get me wrong, I've had that argument in the past. You know, I'm well versed in the argument, which is probably why I'm not necessarily, ball game to have it no more. Like I'm like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a huge fan of having that argument. Like, okay, you think I'm wrong, quote unquote, or incorrect, but you didn't know what you were doing. I have the answer, so now you want to argue with me about my answer. I don't really want to do that. Yeah, so when you say right and wrong, that's where my head goes. Like right and wrong is more designated. Like I may think stealing is wrong, but I also think starving your children is wrong. So if you go to Walmart and steal a steak to feed your kids, are you wrong? In the eyes of Walmart, you are, but in my personal opinion, like you need to feed your fucking kids. So that's right and wrong. I'm correct and incorrect.
It's just okay. So it's just like a moral, just like you said, a moral designator. Like different people look at shit differently. Whereas you live like some people look at right or wrong. It's not always that cut and dry as being right and wrong.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like that's what I'm talking about. Perspective. Like the first thing I said in opening was perspective. Like perspective is an interesting thing. Like from where I'm sitting, I can believe one whole set of circumstances. You know what I mean? Like if I've had people come to me like literally, like their boyfriends want to argue or some shit, or the girl want to argue because somebody slid in your inbox. Well, if a motherfucker sliding in your inbox and you entertaining it, you can look at that two different ways. I was trying to inquire why this person was sliding in my inbox, to which the response is typically, why are you concerned with why they're sliding in your inbox? Why didn't you curve them from the gate? Right, like
but that doesn't matter because you cannot even curve somebody and they'd be like, oh, why? Like, bitch, I can't control who the fuck hits me up. But people want to argue for the sake of arguing because they think it shows that they care. I think that's what it boils down to. It's just like, and it's weird because real people are weird like this. Like, if you're not arguing, you don't care. Like, what fucking logic is? Like, that's learned from somewhere. I don't know where. Like, that's a learned behavior. That ain't something you just brought up. And I don't get that. That's something from somewhere. Because nowadays being petty is good. Because back in the day, oh, you're petty. Like, it was a bad thing. Now it's like, oh, you're petty. I know. It's so don't be petty. Like, people are weird. They call it friends. Different friends. It is true, because that is true, man, because petty did become, like, the big thing, didn't it? It's so cool. Like, look, I'll say something and just be me. Like, hey, you're so petty. Ha, 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 ha. Like, nah, I'm just being me. I'm not being petty. I'm just being real. But they like to think of something now as petty in a positive way. So, you know, they look at things in weird ways because it's trendy. Because people tell them, oh, if you're this. Because I've seen posts. If you're a jealous girl, you're a loyal girl. But most of the time, motherfuckers who are jealous, they be cheating. Because they know what the fuck they do. So people gotta turn some shit into positive. So somebody got fucked up, and they be trying to think positive about somebody. So they try to find an excuse. That's just some weird shit. I ain't gonna argue with nobody. I ain't got time for that. Unless I feel very passionate about something, if I'm very passionate about a certain topic, I will entertain it against my better judgment. But I gotta feel passionate about the argument with somebody. I ain't got time for that.
I can dig it. You know, yeah. If you passionate about something, it's like you can argue about it if you're passionate. But I just may not be passionate, so you're arguing with your damn self. Like, I don't pretend to fully understand the small, nuanced, interpersonal dynamic between people in that way. Like, I'm okay with sitting down watching TV by myself, you know, in silence. And if you accompany me, I expect silence. I don't necessarily want you to speak during what I'm watching, because I wasn't speaking already. And it'd be different if I was like, you know, you want to come talk to me, then yes, let's talk. But yeah, if I'm engaged in something and your opinion is you would like to kick it with me, then that means if I'm on shut the fuck up mode, you should be on shut the fuck up mode too. And that's not an argument. Like, I don't want to argue. Like, I'm not going to engage in that argument. Like, that's not real. Now, you do some other shit, it's a possibility you could get a rise out of me. Like, yeah, that's a possibility, because it's something that I genuinely give a fuck about. If I don't give a fuck about it, and there's not much I really give a fuck about, it's pretty hard to get a rise out of me. So when like, let's take like the inbox thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, I make fun of the inbox thing. Like, it's funny to me, right? But if you having whole full-blown conversations with a motherfucker in your inbox, then you're probably doing some shady shit. Let's just be fucking honest. Like, this is the reality. Because they don't know you well enough to have your phone number or text you or call you, you're probably doing some shady shit. Now, I can bring it to your attention, and once I bring it to your attention, we can move the fuck on past it, but recognize that, you know, my 2 is your 10, so you're in somebody's inbox, and I'm about to be in somebody's box. We can take it. Like, that's the truth. You know, like, that's for real. Like, you know, I'm not going to bullshit and pussyfoot around the bush in dealing with that particular topic. Like, that's weird. Like, you're doing whatever you're doing, and if I go do whatever I do, you're going to be mad because what I'm doing is what you feel like is 10 times worse than what you're doing. But at the end of the day, it's the same. We're both not doing shit to each other. Right? I mean, am I incorrect in my assertion of this thing.
I can't find the flaw in it.
Once again, that's because you're a guy, and that's why we need to have a female perspective, which is why we're going to have a continuation of this particular show because of shit like this. Like that's the reality. Like when I talk about like cheating, quote end quote. Y'all know me. Y'all both have heard my spew, but maybe the general listeners don't understand. Typically, if someone wants to talk about cheating is gaining an unfair advantage to get to the same goal. Well, if the goal for women in the relationship, if the ultimate goal in women is to get to the communication stage, and the ultimate goal for men is to have someone to be there for them physically or whatever the fuck it is, typically women step out first because they're quick to conversate with everybody else about what's going on in the relationship, be it their mother, the cousin, the friend, the homie, whoever. Like if you need that conversational stimulation and you're getting it elsewhere, you effectively initiated the cheating sequence. I don't need to conversate. I want some pussy. I'm going to get some pussy elsewhere. But you definitely did it first. That's my philosophy. Like that's how I see it. Like it's a really black and white thing. Like I think people make the shit way too convoluted, and it loses the meaning. Like everyone's so focused on fidelity. Like fidelity and loyalty don't equal one another. I can be loyal to you and not remain, fucking. But that's not the reality of the situation. Like to me, that's weird.
It's society,
right? Like you're so busy defining your relationship by societal pressures and standards. You don't define your own relationship. At which case, like, is that really the person you want to be with? Like, if you allow everybody else to define how your relationship works, why the fuck are you in it? Why ain't they in it?
That's a true statement. That's true. Because that's like one of the big things. Like everybody, just like you say, if I cheat on you, I'm wrong. But what led me to cheat? You see what I'm saying? Like, you got to look at every aspect of everything. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and wait on you to bestow some shit upon me that is fucking rightfully given anywhere else. I can go get that shit from anywhere. But you want to fucking ration that shit out like it's some goddamn hostage in a fucking foreign country and shit. It's right.
I mean, I'm just like, I'm trying to understand it. Like, that's why we need to have a separate perspective on the show. Like, I would like to hear the rebuttal to that conversation. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm talking about general terminology because this is the type of conversations that you can't have with whoever you with. Because when you with them, they get offended and want to apply it to themselves or the actual relationship, not understanding that you're just talking in general terminology, trying to get an understanding of what people believe. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like you have this conversation, like if you got a girl and you have the conversation with her, she's thinking, well, this is what you want to do. No, bitch, that's not what the fuck I said. I'm trying to understand your thought process. It requires me to put it in this scenario so you can regurgitate it back to me to possibly better understand who you are. But no, that doesn't happen either.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like I'd be totally curious about shit like this. We're definitely gonna have to have a female in the session, like, because it's weird. Like we clearly agree with one another. Shit, we've known each other for fucking over 10 years. We know our own tendencies. You know, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Like it's like I need to go out and find someone who doesn't agree with us to debate us and possibly convince me that I'm in some way incorrect. I'm not, but I would like it to happen. I would like to hear what someone else has to say. Like, because clearly we believe, damn near the same. Like, I don't even use, right, like you even heard, like I said cheating, quote, end quote, because that's not the word that I'm really fond of. Like, I'm not really fond of the word. Because if that's the case, like if I'm going to use the terminology cheating, what it means is all men are getting cheated on. Because women typically don't talk to their men. They talk to their friends. They talk to their family about everything going on in the relationship. And when you ask a woman, what do you want in a relationship? First thing out of broad's mouth is, to communication?
So you say that's what you claim,
Right.
but that's not really what you want.
And then
Because when I come at you and I tell you the truth, you don't want to fucking hear it.
that was about to say that. Like really, when you start talking about communication, like what defines communication? Like your communication, like when you want to have the conversation, or when you think something is important, we talk about it. But if I find it important or if I find it relevant, it gets knocked down. How does that work as well? That's really, that's a really interesting one too. What's your take on that, Kev? Kev's like, I don't got no vested interest in none of this shit. So that shit's crazy. And the bitch is, the moment the bitch does it, she's gone.
Going, gone, home run. Yeah, there. Yeah, that's my video.
Yeah, like this shit is interesting. Like I'm a perpetual victim of this one, right? This is no bullshit. You do something that I think is fuck shit, and you don't like my response, so we're gonna argue about my response, not about the fuck shit.
Yes. Oh my. I'm sorry. That one hit me right where I live. That one hit me where I live. That was right there. that one hit me where I live. That right there. I don't have those problems. I'm single. We'll call that.
Well, you know what? This really isn't about necessarily being single as much as it is, like I said, the general ideology behind it. So your perspective would be unique. It would be helpful to some people. Like if a chick is on one of our pages after we post it, you know what I mean? Like, and she doesn't understand something, she may, like, because me and Mookie we come with a certain set of experiences, and we've clearly tolerated some of this bullshit. So they may think that's the norm. Where you like, yo, bitch, you're gone. We're not even going to act like we're fucking around if you do any of these things. It might be good for a bitch to hear that. So then she understands that her expectation is fucked up.
Oh no, I cut him off quick, man. I don't have time for that. Like that's a red flag. You gotta go. I cut him off in a second. I ain't worried about that because I have no commitment. Then again, if I did, I would already know by then if that's how it worked. But yeah, I mean, you're gone. So these are pussy. They're gonna get some pussy because they don't get none. So they tolerate it so they can get some pussy. Like these chicks are stupid and they fall for it because they think they're the shit. But really, it's one for them. And I'm not falling for that. I don't care. I can get pussy. So, you know, whatever. Fuck them.
Yeah, well, see, that's the single perspective, and I get that part. Like, Luke, what's your take? Like, I'm talking about once you're in the relationship, though. Like, what would you do, Kev? Like, I'm gonna pose it to you, right? You're in the relationship. She has passed all of the tests. Like, there's a standard. There's a barometer by which you judge women, and this bride finally passes the test. So you can dip the litmus paper, shit came up good, everything is good. So you're 6 months in, you've invested time and energy into this chick, and now all of a sudden, one of these scenarios take place. How does Kev deal with this scenario?
I'm out because it was all on the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was all on the side. I'm out. No pause. Right. I'm out. Look, one thing about, so I'm a unique person because one thing about me is I keep it 100 at all times. I might not be able to express how I feel. I might not be able to say the things that make you feel good because I don't know how to express that, but I keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't do the thing, you're gone. Once I realized, dude, I done had motherfucking best friends I done talked to for motherfucking, and granted, it's just a little different, but I am the best friends since fucking third grade. Once they do me wrong, they're gone. Everybody is expendable once you prove yourself to not be who you say you are because I keep it 100. If you can't do the thing, you're gone. So, because we've got that far, and then you do this stuff, it was all on the side. You're out of here. Goodbye. Home run. Going far. I can't. Oh, yo.
Ooh, that is epic. Look,
Go.
Yeah, that's epic. Like, it's interesting, like to hear your perspective on it. You know what I'm saying? Because clearly, like, me and Mook, we've tolerated this drama. And don't get me wrong, there has been times that we haven't tolerated the drama. But clearly, we were in long relationships once upon a time, whatever. And the drama comes. And there's a time you just get to, you're like, you know what? It's not worth the argument. It's certainly not worth my attention. And now, I used to give a fuck, but now I don't. And it's not that I don't give a fuck about you as a person, as a human being, but once you bring this shit to my table, I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to eat that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm just going to go do nothing over here by myself away from your bullshit. Because I really don't want to deal with the bullshit. Like, Mook, like, how do you handle it? Like, because me, like, I'm always, everyone always has this assumption that I'm, like, intolerant and vicious and hostile. And while these things may certainly be the case in some scenarios, typically that's not the case when I'm dealing with someone. Like, I guess some of who I am creeps across and spills into those matters. But as a whole, like, I think to myself, like, if I'm not rolling you the fuck down the street, I kind of believe that we're good right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my philosophy. Is like, I can think of so many worse things that could be happening, so not speaking isn't that important. Like,
exactly.
Like, right, you can definitely get your shit off. Like, if you got some shit to say, get your shit off. Go for it. But don't expect a all-out response. Like, don't expect a rebuttal. Shit, I may even be understanding of your perspective on the situation. It doesn't mean I agree. It means I understand your perspective. And I choose not to offer an explanation to dispute your perspective, thereby belittling what you actually feeling. So, okay is an acceptable response at that point. Like, how do you deal with it, Luke?
Exactly, because at the end of the day, why argue about something why argue about something that's not going to change? Because if I keep going through the same thing over and over again, that is the exact definition of insanity. I'm not going to do it. I can't say that I'm on the same level as Kev. Now, I do have my breaking point. Everybody does. I'm not. I guess I could say it's really gonna make me sound real soft, but it's who I am. I'm not gonna just throw away something behind one small infraction because it could be, it could not be. But there are some things that I just can't bend on. Respect is what's gonna get your ass fucking kicked the fuck out, or I'm gonna leave. Somebody got to go. Respect. You gotta have respect. Like, you doing something that you know is blatantly disrespectful to somebody, that's a no-go. That's I gotta use Kev here. Gone. Out of here. Going, gone. Gotta go. Can't do it. Can't. But for some reason, I think women I don't know, man. I think the best word I can use, they get complacent. They accept the lifestyle. It's just like, I ain't gotta do the same shit that I used to do. Because Kev said it, it's like they put on a facade, and it's like they good at it too. It's like you want to be fucking teabag Tammy before we get married and shit, and then once we get married, and it's like, gotcha, bitch. And now it's just like, what the fuck happened? Like, when did this shit happen? What did I miss? Like, who the fuck are you? And how the fuck did I get here? Like, this is not conducive to a happy lifestyle. Like, no, fuck you. Get out. Leave me alone. Yeah. And I go swimming. It's fucking crazy, dude. Like, real talk. Like, these women get the men. They do everything in their power to get these men. Like, they go above and beyond. They pay. They fucking do all this crazy shit to get the man, and then once they got him, they treat him like shit. Like, who the fuck? Like, and then you want to start looking, now you want to start going through his phone. Now you want to start picking arguments about shit. Then you want to start doing your own thing. Now you want to start coming home and all hours of the night. Nah, okay, then. See, now we got to put a stop to this. See, now you done got complacent. You was gonna come in here and thought you made the rules, but now you see that Luke makes the rules up in this bitch, and you got to get on track. That's what you finna fucking do. That's how that shit's gonna work from here on out. And you can either get on board or you can get the fuck on. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you clearly was having a moment right there, so we were just gonna let
my bad. I had to stop because he was going to get a finish don't put that down.
Yeah, like it's an interesting concept, man. Like when I hear people talk about it in like relationships and shit they'll tolerate and shit they won't tolerate and the complacency issue. Like complacency is a big one, cause that's a killer. like women like to post memes and talk to each other and tell they men whatever you did to get me is what you need to do to keep me. But they don't take that advice at all. Like the same, like I take you out to eat and we go out and have a good time and go enjoy fucking, different events and places, and we give you a gift or something here and there. That's all of the shit that was occurring when you couldn't keep your mouth off my dick, and you like to fucking basically fall, you wanted to fall asleep with my dick in you type shit. Like that's and then when you stop doing that, and then I stop doing all the other shit, now you want to argue that I don't do none of the other shit. Well, take your own advice, bitch. You start doing that shit, you start getting the other shit. That's how I see it. And when I hear about it in relationships, that's typically the type of information I give. Like if I'm talking to a guy, it's like, oh, look, bro, you got to do the shit you used to do to make sure she's good. And if I'm talking to a chick, I'm like, look, you can't stop giving this motherfucker no pussy because that's a killer. Like even if you pissed off, that's a killer. Like I'm not saying that you got to give me some if you ain't in the mood, but I mean you like Kev, you got two hands and three holes, still stands. Like you can work wonders. You can work wonders with those things. It ain't got to be about fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't mad, you're mad. So that's how it works. I don't know.
That is super mad.
Like right, like we can have a whole argument. Like we can have a whole argument. You could call me all types. Like you can say damn near everything except for like your mom is a bitch. Because after the argument, like if you don't want me to talk to you, just put my dick in your mouth. Conversation's over. You won. You got the last word in. Like that's how I feel. I don't know about everybody else in the world. Like if you got some shit to say, like you fucked up. I asked you to take the trash out 22 times and wash the dishes, and you didn't do none of that shit. And then just start slurping. We're not gonna argue. That's how it works.
Cause I'm showing up, but you know me, I'm pulling my dick out. And if you don't do nothing, I'm leaving. We're done here.
Oh my god, Kev, you crazy, dude.
I know I had to put the phone on mute because I'm not way too loud in there. So I had to mute the phone. I just ruined that whole podcast. I had to log off for a minute on that one.
Hey, look, it is what it is, man. Like, I mean, once again, we're talking about the male perspective at this point. Like, we're not, like, the show is dedicated to understanding all manner of things, but clearly, people are avoiding the opportunity to speak on the other side of the coin. And I'm all for it. I'm all for a healthy engagement, especially with somebody who, you're not involved with, because then you get to, like, truly see, like, like, what's the deal, really? Like, why do y'all think like this? Why do y'all do this? Like, why is this your response? Yeah, I mean, like I had a shorty ask me the other day, no bullshit. She was like, I got these dudes and they're always up my ass, and I don't know what else I could do to reject them. I'm like, you're too nice. They're like, what do you mean you're too nice? I'm like, you're too fucking nice. When like a dude hears a nice rejection and thinks, well, she rejected me nicely, I have an opportunity tomorrow. You have to take it there. And she said, well, what do you mean by take it there? I was like, well, listen, I understand you don't have a boyfriend, and I'm not necessarily suggesting you do this with a random person, but if a dude slides in your inbox or sends you a text message, send me a picture with your mouth around somebody's dick saying I'm with my boyfriend right now. And he won't fucking tell you. This is a fact. Right? I mean, I'm just like, if you text a girl or you inbox some chick and say, what you doing? And then she sends you a picture with her mouth on some dude's dick, are you pretty much done with the conversation?
Yeah, that's
right. Like that was that was my frame of reference. Like that's my logic. Like, oh, what you doing right now? Sucking my boyfriend's dick. What you doing? The conversation is fucking over. He's no longer interested. Now, there's some weird motherfuckers who might be interested. Like, damn, you get hit like a fucking pro, and I want you to do me next. Like, okay, that's when you get your boyfriend involved. But at this point, you know, you can't properly curve a nigga because what's happening is he thinks he still has a chance. Like, because you trying to be nice. You don't understand the nature of rejection. You're like, well, no, like right now I'm not into you. What that mean? Right now just passed. So what about right now? that's how dudes are.
Right here.
Right? Like that's what dudes do. Like, okay, like you said you're not interested right now? Yeah, I'm not interested right now. How about right now?
Right now? Now?
Like I don't think they get it. Like I really don't. I don't think they get it. And then, you know, chicks ain't necessarily all the way forthcoming with their level of involvement with other people. Like, you know,
that's true.
Right. They be trying to be like, well, yeah, he's my boyfriend, but bitch, the moment you say but, you leave the door open. Like that's just how that works. That's what that is. And there is no taking that back. You can't take that back. That's stuck on what it is.
This is true statement.
So what's your take on that, Kev? Kev is awful silent, but okay, understand, folks. Kev is awful silent because Kev doesn't do relationships.
That's right. I can't keep on stuff that not a party.
Kev be like, I ain't got that to do. Like I ain't wasting my time. Kev's like, at this point, Kev is allergic to seafood, so he refuses to try shrimp.
Yep. If I get involved, it's forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. I know it's forever. There's no doubt about it. And that's this little thing that y'all have. There's no doubt about it at all. Because they know how the fuck I am. I know how they are. And there's no surprise. If there is, they're gone. So it's just that easy.
Look, Mook, listen, Mook. Kev's sentence sounds like he says, I'm gone as a period. Because at the end of every statement, he says, I'm gone.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Like what? You like spaghetti without meat? I'm gone.
That's it. It's just that easy. My ability to detach from people is amazing and sad at the same time. But you know what I mean? For me, I'm different though. But for me, it's easy. Once you're not who you say you are, we're done. Don't make a promise you can't eat. That's it.
I like it. Well, I mean, I'm going to say we going to table this conversation right now. We going to table this, and we going to come back and hit them over the head Thursday, and hopefully we get somebody that's ready to engage with us. Like even if it's maybe we'll shoot for two other people, like two separate people who don't know one another but know us and can give us some feedback on this particular topic. Like the things that we've already discussed, we absolutely want to discuss with a female or opposing perspective, because there are men in the world who do not think as radical as we do and who aren't as intolerant as we are when it comes to these particular circumstances. Like me, I understand it is a flaw in my makeup that I am so intolerant. Like, I understand that it is a flaw in my makeup. Like Kev said, I can become detached. Now, and detachment doesn't mean I'm kicking you to the curb. It means I genuinely no longer give a fuck, and we can peacefully coexist without me speaking to you for any reason whatsoever. Like, right, like, and that in and of itself creates a whole nother dilemma. So, yeah, we're definitely going to table. We're going to table this. We're going to table this. It's Tuesday. So, y'all are welcome to when y'all see the post, send us questions, send us comments. The email is nofilterthepodcast@gmail.com. Send us questions. We'll bring them up. Tell us you want to get on the show. Send one of us the phone number. We'll call you. We will call you because we would like to hear opposing perspectives. Because clearly us talking about shit we feel equally the same about. I mean, it allows y'all a window into our perspectives, but we don't know. At this point, we think all y'all are the same. And not women, all y'all who believe separately from us, we believe y'all are all identical in y'all nature, in y'all makeup. That is to include men. We think y'all are, right, we think y'all are filled with #bitch-assness, and y'all argue and bicker and complain and gossip like bitches.
Yeah, y'all are pretty much useless. I said it. I fucking said it.
All right, we're done podcasting. I do. I need a separate perspective at this point. I do. I really do. Because at this point, I want to argue with somebody. I want to argue. I want to argue and it not mean anything. I want to have an argument for the sake of the debate. You know what I'm saying? Like, not arguing it means something in the long run or adversely impacts my life, but just genuinely hear someone tell me that I'm incorrect because I feel like this. Like, and if the only thing you have to offer is I'm intolerant, I'm like, bitch, I already said that.
Good point, bitch. Gonna be interesting.
I can't wait.
I'm still fucking mad about Shelly and that bitch ass. She cool.
Dude, she not ready to do this. By no stretch of the imagination. She knows who she's about to get on the phone with, even though.
And I think that's why
even though she don't know Kev, she knows what's about to happen to her. She's not trying to do this.
You know, she can't come in here with that whack shit. She was gonna spit. Don't think of me on beat. I'm nice. You're the one.
Well, you know what? You're right in this scenario because she knows me. Like, that's the truth. Like, that's the gospel truth. So I'm okay with it. Like, I am. I'm fine with it. Like, I'll be the asshole in these scenarios. Like, man, bitches is fucking funny to me, man.
Fuck. It's all low.
I mean, we could go back to our rap conversation now because that was more enjoyable.
So next Thursday, I need to start.
Next Thursday.
What did I say? Next Thursday? Don't listen to me. Don't say nothing. I know what I meant when I said it. What y'all didn't know. So
Okay.
never mind. Don't you fucking prejudge me.
Did you just hit me with the prejudge?
Yes, sure did. Prejudgment.
Word up. I'll take it.
Oh,
I will gladly accept it.
Where the fuck is my work shirt at? God damn it.
Oh boy. Mook's just looking for Mook is just looking for more reasons to not go to work.
I am too, and I'm going to use that shit to couldn't find my shirt, can't go to work. Because they know they can kick you out, you come over here without that damn shirt on. Where the fuck did I put it? Fucking white man trying to keep me down. Yes, shit, maybe would have happened if I was black.
Probably wouldn't. He's not
Oh,
that
shit.
He's not.
He? Not black. Clear.
I said be blacker.
Word.
Where in the fuck did I say go?
He said my work Telegram 1 bothers me.
You watch it?
You said well, work Telegram if you have 1. Do you watch it?
I wore the rest of them. They gave us like 5, and this is my last clean one.
Dude, it's only one on Wednesday. How many shirts you wear a day?
Well, I wear one a day. Seeing as how this is the business I start work. Let's see. I got my shirts when? I got them Thursday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I should have another one. What the fuck? Why do I only have one? Somebody, there's a fucking monster in this house.
Probably under the bed. Be careful.
Why was I looking under the bed?
Oh my god, y'all was looking when you said that shit. Cause it's true. I wouldn't make this shit up. I saw a movie. They're real.
The monsters under the bed?
That's right.